Welcome, everybody, to Event Marketing Redefined. We are day 3 live at Exhibitor Live. I have Danica Tormohlen with me from the Exhibitor News Network. Danica, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Exhibitor News Network. Tell me.
So we just launched in March, and it is a new media brand for exhibitors and event marketers. So any kind of news, resources, information about how to have a better trade show booth, save money, market your booth, anything like that is what we cover. We also have Trade Show News Network that has been around for 25 plus years, one of the oldest websites out there, and then corporate event news. So we really have a good basis that we're working from. And so super excited.
It's cool. It's very well-rounded now, like in terms of like what's being covered. Like I know, with TSNN, I always check it, right? And I do love the coverage that they have on the different cities and the convention centers, seeing what's going on. And it's very well-rounded, but now this seems like this is going to get more niche, more specific.
Niche. Exactly.
What's being talked about right now? What are you guys what are you putting out there right away?
So we've been covering, like I said, I think that there's how-to information. Everybody wants to, we did something on design.
Nice.
Design trends. People love to see, what's new in booths and design, some of the things that happened at EuroShop earlier this year. And then also, budgeting, increasing costs is a huge issue so far in 2023. Inflation pressures and, increasing costs has been a big one. We reported on one of the stories that got a lot of reaction was about labor and materials handling costs. So, things like that. So we're not shy about, hitting some hard-hitting topics.
Yeah, I think there's some issues in the industry that are worthwhile being written on, looked into, not investigated, but like sort of, getting out there to people, especially to exhibitors,
right?
So that they can read, they can see, they're educated rolling into trade shows because they're complex machines. You mentioned design.
Yeah.
So I had my mentor on the other day. He owns Exploring Inc., ID3 Group, Exploring Graphics, Brewmark, Dave Wallens, and he said, the experience economy, the book, right?
Yes. Yeah.
He's talking about, he thinks this next step here that we're rolling into is like a design kind of economy where design is going to lead the way. So you were talking about, you guys were writing about design and sort of like how was it framed? What were they talking about per se?
So basically booth design, what some of the things are, whether it's like, greenery,
Trends.
the wood, flooring, the mix of colors that are interesting, the materials. There's a LED, obviously, displays are huge.
Design sells.
Yeah, exactly. And, all of the different ways that people are able now to use the LEDs. I mean, huge walls, right? I mean, it really has changed the way a lot of booths look on the show floor.
You've been covering this industry for a while, correct? You've been in and around?
I have. Yeah, 29 years.
Good for you. That's awesome. What are you seeing right now in general in the industry that like excites you personally, or things that you're just seeing that, you think are cool?
So I think sometimes people forget the industry was pretty much shut down, not very long ago.
Yep.
So to look back and to see this year, I mean, I'm talking to people here at the show, and I would say everyone that I have talked to that I've interviewed has told me that 2023 is going to be a banner year, way ahead of 2019, which was, for most people, the best year, one of the best years in the trade show industry. So a lot of people hit numbers in 2022 and are blowing those numbers out of the water. So it's really exciting that, the people there has certainly been attrition in companies, especially, in this side of the industry, on the exhibit side of the industry, display companies and, manufacturers, things like that, but the industry is just roaring back. And so I think, the excitement around attendance and experience at events, I mean, the fact that attendees want to come back to events, I think there was some, some questions initially about that. Everybody was on the Zoom digital kick for a while because we had to. It really helped, us to get, be digital for a while. It really pushed things where, this industry has traditionally been a little slow to adapt technology. And we were really forced to adapt technology, but to see the rush back to in person and the excitement for attendees in particular, because, if you don't have the attendees, you're not going to have the exhibitors. So
I know. I think the virtual thing's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of what happened. It was we were thrusted into it, everybody. And I think people, I think it kind of like got the kick in the you-know-what that it needed, right? Because people had to figure it out. A lot of mistakes were made with it. And now it is leveling off to where face-to-face is back. People want to be in person like this, but virtual is also working. But it's people are learning it. They're doing it in different ways. They're using it more as a sales and marketing tool. And I think what's happening now is with millennials, Gen Z becoming the buyers, and they are the buyers for the next 10 years or so. They're saying, hey, if you can deliver me value virtually, great, I'll take it and I'll do it. Don't deliver me that value in person.
Right.
Make them different.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of, it helps, it's more inclusive. I mean, I will say that, there's some great benefits of it. Digital, you can get people in the pipeline, younger people that are just getting into an industry so they can learn
it's
about
good data
it.
Too.
Yeah, exactly. So there's some really great things about it, but you're just not going to replace the face-to-face experience. So that is, I'm happy to see that.
That's awesome. I'm happy to see it too. Anything you're hearing from exhibitors in particular?
Well, like I said, that they're going to have really good years. I think the staffing issue has leveled off to some degree.
Okay.
I think that there are still, there's still some pockets where, there needs to be some staffing, but it has gotten a lot better. But then the increased costs. I mean, really,
the costing is a big thing. I talked to, oh my gosh, I've talked to so many people the last 2 days, but I talked to, a lot of people in the CTSM program who are learning, who are event marketers, and, the costs are a concern, right? The rising costs, because then they get less for what their budget is, because the budgets aren't just jumping as well. So hopefully there's some kind of level off point when it comes to this budget, and hopefully there's some solutions being put in place to deliver more value at a less cost.
Right. Well, and if you look at it, it has some of it is travel costs, right? That we have literally no control over, and it's companies that have. It's been a seller's market in terms of venues, hotels, and airlines. I mean, it just is. They're making up for some lost revenues from the pandemic. So I think we are going to see some of that level off.
I had a good conversation on my podcast maybe like a month ago with a woman that runs a ton of events, but she talked about negotiating with hotels. That's what we talked about for a while. Yeah. And she was saying like now coming out of the pandemic, hotels are really not throwing their weight around, but they're trying to make up. They're trying to make up for lost time, so it's been more tricky negotiating these very large conferences and events, and 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, like these locks that they're trying to put in and costs.
The demand is high. So when you have the demand is there, people are ready to come back to in person, and they have been. So, the event organizers, trying to get their events scheduled and get those rates, a good rate. But then you're also having all the leisure as well. I mean, that has all come back. So demand is there. And so that's why, costs are still up.
Yeah. A lot of the meeting planners, event marketers, all scrambling right now.
Yeah.
All tons to do. In and out of hotels, traveling, running events. I mean, this is the busy season, so it'll hopefully level off a little bit for people come summer. But very, very busy right now.
And 2023 is really the first, this is our first full year of non-pandemic, issues. So we're really being able to see benchmarks and reality from CES in January, to ConExpo, last month.
Were you at CES?
I was not at CES this year. No, I've been in the past, but not this year.
What's what was like the last best big trade show you were at, or
the last big show I was at SHOT Show.
How was
And
that?
that was in January, and they had record
Yeah.
attendance, and they did a lot of really cool things. I think another trend that I'm seeing is a lot more experiences,
Oh yeah.
At the event. So the show organizer had concerts and happy hours, new activities for their attendees to be able to network and maximize that in-person experience that you're not going to get online.
Do you see like shows you think they're going to try to evolve here? You think they're going to make some changes, the organizers, the associations, to drive more experience, more value? What have you seen there?
I'm already seeing that. I mean,
Okay.
you're seeing it even at CES. They had like an autonomous car race there. I mean, just different things
That's
that
cool.
are memorable and that you're not going to get anywhere else. I mean, maximize that in-person experience.
Yeah, I spoke to a woman who is the like press officer for AHR Expo. She was great. She was so knowledgeable, and just talking about how they're trying to drive so much value to the attendee, to the exhibitor, the press they're trying to create for them, content they're trying to spin out for them, and really not rethinking the show, but just rethinking kind of I guess like rethinking ways that it can just be more valuable to everybody and provide more resources to exhibitors and attendees, which I think is absolutely the way that this whole thing has to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. I mean, and, like you just said, the press is a big part of it,
Yeah.
being able to get your, the branding opportunities that are available at a show. I mean, I just heard from somebody here that their son got a job at a show, like mapped out, companies that he wanted to meet. And,
Nice.
I mean, there's just so many ways that you
That's
can
a cool one.
use
Yeah,
a
that's
show
cool.
to your, he picked the outdoor industry to work in and went to the outdoor shows
Mm.
and hit the, top 5 companies to see, culturally, how did they exhibit? What are they like?
Wow.
And then was able at the show floor to make contacts there and then
That's really
end up
cool.
with a job. So, a trade show is really a community for an industry. So
Yeah, that's cool. What an approach there. What a
I
very
know.
what a creative way of going about it. That's
Smart,
awesome.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, very. What's in terms of content, right? That Exhibitor News Network, you guys are going to be creating anything different that you're going to be doing, or ways of delivering it, or trying different things in that space?
Yeah, we have a podcast as well.
Nice, good.
Yeah, we have a podcast, so we do that. We are definitely going to be incorporating more video.
Cool.
And we were just recently acquired by Informa,
Okay.
and so the opportunities and possibilities are really endless. So I'm super excited to
That's
see
awesome.
where we go next.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Danica, thanks for coming on. Thanks for talking with me. Good luck with all Exhibitor News Network, and I'm excited to, I check everything out. I check all the publications out.
Excellent.
I always read. I always check. Yeah, I want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Matt.
You got it.